Last night, we asked if J.D. Vance will be the real foreign minister if Donald Trump comes to power. We talked about what the foreign policy under a potential Trump 2.0 administration will look like. Tonight, we focus specifically on what it could mean for China. What would a second Trump presidency mean for Beijing? How will it impact the US-China relationship? It is, after all, a relationship that goes beyond impacting just the two countries. First, let's set the context for you. Ever since J.D. Vance was named as Trump's running mate, speculation has been rife about what this combination would bring to the table for America and beyond. If we see Trump coming to power, we now have more insight into what could possibly be in store. Let's talk about the key statements made by J.D. Vance and the takeaways. Vance, of course, if Trump comes to power, will be the United States vice president. Let's just focus on what he said regarding China. Vance lashed out at Joe Biden over what Vance called a sweetheart trade deal given to China. I'm quoting from what he said. Joe Biden gave China a sweetheart trade deal that destroyed even more good American middle-class manufacturing jobs, quote unquote. Basically, he brought up the loss of jobs in Ohio and around the country, blaming Biden's support of the North American Free Trade Agreement and China becoming a member of the WTO in 2001. What's more, he called for stopping the Chinese Communist Party from building their middle class on the backs of American citizens. Not just that, he had more ammunition to attack China. I'm quoting, "Our country was flooded with cheap Chinese goods, with cheap foreign labor, and in the decades to come, deadly Chinese fentanyl," quote unquote. We've been telling you about the escalating fentanyl row between the two sides. And there was also a stern message for allies, by the way, talking about the need for sharing the burden. Vance talked about ensuring that allies share the burden of securing world peace. His message was simple: no more free rides for countries that betray the generosity of the American taxpayer. And speaking of the US and China, let me tell you something interesting. Before that, let me ask you this question. What, according to you, is truly an indicator or a marker of a modern quality of life? Nutrition, is it? Does that tell us more about the living standards and the basic quality of life in a country? Let me tell you why I'm asking this question. China has surpassed the US in the amount of daily dietary protein available to its population. Why is this significant? Because this is something that was thought to be impossible as per some politicians in the West. This, by the way, is as per the latest data from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. Why was it thought to be impossible, you ask? To put it simply, because of the sheer difference in the population of the two countries. We are talking about a country that has more than 4 times the population of that of the United States, among other factors at play, of course. So taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture here, by the way, the question also remains about whether it will be a contest between Trump and Biden after all. You know why we ask this question? Because of what Joe Biden has said after a series of big names calling on him to bow out of the presidential race given his debate performance and mounting pressure on the president to call off his re-election bid. We have Biden saying that he will if he is diagnosed with a medical condition. That statement naturally set the cat among the pigeons, but we will get into that later. For now, amid the series of questions, one thing is clear: interesting times lie ahead, and only time will tell which way the wind will blow for the Americans. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.